Hey everyone, this is James Theocaris with Melody of Music Introducers. Today we are with Western Jaguar. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So before we get started, Jeffrey, whereabouts are you from?
So I'm in just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia. So Vancouver is kind of the biggest town around me that most people know. But I'm in a smaller town called Chilliwack that is about an hour and a half outside of Vancouver. It's kind of in like the suburbs.
Oh, okay, nice. Because
Yeah.
I had an inter I did the last interview which is coming out this week,
Yeah.
or last week. Again, timings of releases.
People will figure it out.
Yeah, people will figure it out. But at the end of the interview with Flowers for Hannah, I said, "Oh yeah, so that next week we've got a artist from Canada,"
Yeah.
and I was just like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Oh my God, did I get that right?" But I'm glad I got
Yeah.
that right.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm quite curious to know a bit more about your music because I've
Sure.
listened to a bunch of it and I've reviewed a bunch of it,
Yeah.
and I'm really starting to get into it and really enjoy it. But to find out a bit more about your perspective,
Sure.
what's your favorite song that you've written?
Oh, this is such a great question. And it's something I've wrestled with a lot because it changes, right? It changes
Yeah,
over time. Because I think it depends where you are in your life. Like certain songs resonate with you more depending on kind of how your life moves on. But I'd say currently on the new record, there's a song called Melancholia. And I feel like that is kind of the best song I've ever put together in terms of not really complexity. Like it's a pretty simple song. Like it's just some synths and little
yeah.
bass, and there's no actually electric guitar on it, which is crazy.
Oh my
Like
God.
because everything else does. But like lyrically is what I'm most proud of with that song. Because if you listen back to like early Western Jaguar, a lot of the lyrics I'm not super proud of. And because I was kind of afraid to like write about
Yeah,
things that were honest to me.
yeah.
And like Melancholia, the lyrics of that are like super honest. And it's like that's kind of what my life was like for a long time.
Mm,
And being able to actually get that out, like now I understand like that cathartic feeling of like
yeah.
writing and things like that. So that song for sure means a lot to me. And I kind of regret not releasing it as a single. I thought it would be kind of too out there from the other my other material.
Yeah.
But yeah, people have really resonated with that song. And I think it's because it resonates with me.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I mean, I suppose that's the thing is feeling cathartic. I can't speak English. Feeling
Yeah.
cathartic after writing is such a huge
Yeah.
thing in music, especially especially now. A lot of musicians, especially new musicians, find it as a release of, oh, I can get this out of my head. I
Yeah.
can get this out. I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's out.
Yeah. I know. And it does feel like that because like I finished this album like 4 or 5 months ago. And like for
Mm,
4 or 5 months, I was like, oh my gosh, like, should I even release this? Like, is this any good? Like, what am I doing? So yeah, to get it out, just like, hey, it's out. I can't do anything anymore. I was telling my wife, it's kind of like you start a fire and it's gonna burn, and I can't control it anymore. Like, we'll see where it burns.
yeah, I think that's the thing with music now is like you can release it and I mean you can always retract it, but when it's
Yeah,
out there, I'm sure there's a copy of it somewhere.
somewhere. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, so you mentioned about electric guitars.
Yeah,
So you describe your signature on Spotify as an artist as signature reverb heavy guitars,
yeah,
throbbing bass, and high voltage percussion.
yeah.
So in the production stage of your music, when do you incorporate the guitars? Is it the beginning, towards the end? Is it in the middle? Um,
Yeah. So it really my process, you could say process.
mm,
I guess that's what people say. My process. It's changed a lot over time. Like going back to the beginning, the first record, I really didn't know what I was doing. Like those are like the first songs I ever wrote. So I was taking like any scraps of ideas, riffs, things like that, and using them and turning them into songs. But more recently, I find I write a lot starting on the acoustic now.
oh,
And I think it's because I used to have a band that I played with consistently, and now it's just kind of me. So I need songs to both work as a full production, like the Western Jaguar
Yeah,
sound, but they also need to work just acoustic, like if I'm going to go play a show by myself. So I
yeah,
found writing acoustically has really helped. And then from there, I'll take kind of that skeleton that I've written acoustically. And I know the song works because it works just me singing and playing. And then we build it from there. We add those drums, the bass, and then the guitars. And that reverb heavy guitar has just been something. It's mainly this one pedal, like a Strymon Blue Sky. I bought it.
okay.
I think I bought it in like 2011 off. I still remember who, because it was a guy who built one of my guitars, Greg Nickel, and he sold it to me. And it's been on my board for 13 years. I have not touched the settings in 13 years. It's all the same effects, the same sound. I I need to buy a backup because I'm scared if something happens, I'm gonna lose it forever.
You're gonna lose the Western Jaguar sound.
It is the sound. Like people, lots of people have talked to me about like, oh, that Corsi reverb sound. It's just that pedal, that one setting, and that's just it. Like I just love it,
Oh,
and I've used
oh,
it over and over and over again.
that's so cool though that you've got like a signature setting on a
Yeah,
pedal, especially that you haven't changed it in 13 years. That's insane.
no, like Strymon, hit me up, man. Like, let's make it signature sound pack. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
a signature Western Jaguar. Come on.
I know. Come on, people want that. There might be like five people that want that.
But still, five as
Yeah,
a
come on.
five as a customer base.
There you
Start
go.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, so speaking of performances, because of course you said about starting acoustically, so that when you perform without a
Mm.
band, you know how to do it. So what's your favorite song to perform?
Ooh, that's also a good question. Um, when playing with the band, actually, I think it's still the same. I would say on it was in the song on Memorial, which was re-released on Ranges, which is an album I released earlier this year, which is kind of like a greatest hits of the first 10 years of Western Jaguar.
Mm,
And it's called Voyager. And it's by far not the most popular song on
mm,
like streaming or anything like that. But like just live, it's such a fun song to play. And it's been like the closing song in every set I've played going back to probably like 2015. Like it's always the last song I play just because it's another one like Melancholia, which I feel is pretty honest lyrically,
mm.
but it also like just goes in so many different places. Like it starts kind of more mellow. It gets into like a groove, then it like mellows out again. It builds, like it explodes into like
Yeah,
reverb heavy, like delayed picking attack guitars. Like it goes all
yeah,
these different places, and it's just so fun to play. And I remember the first time playing that song like with the band when I had the band, and like it's like one of those moments that's just like imprinted in your brain. Like I can see myself playing that song on stage and all the shows that we played because it's just a heavy song lyrically, but like it's just so fun to play. And I think like that is what I strive for in Western Jaguar is like that dichotomy of like heaviness, but also still keeping it fun and
yeah,
exciting. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's the thing with music is that no matter what genre you're in, you need to have a nice balance. You can't go all
Yeah.
in one or all in the other. Of energetic
Yeah.
or melancholy, you need to have something for everyone. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you kind of really unbalanced. And also in performances, if you're energetic throughout all the performances, by the end you're just
Yeah.
completely tired.
Yeah. And I've struggled with that too, like thinking like, oh, am I making too many slow songs or am I making too many fast songs? But you're right. Like like if you listen to any artist catalog or especially good ones, like there's
Yeah,
variation, right? And I think having and that song is perfect because it has all that variation within one single song, which is why I think it's my most fun to perform live because you get a little bit of everything in it.
yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So speaking slightly more broader as
Okay.
an artist, who? So of course you've been in the industry for a while now.
Yeah.
Who started your journey? Like, where did it start? Was there one in particular person who inspired you?
Yeah. So how this started, I played in bands, like just kind of as guitar players in high school and things like that. And I never wanted to sing or be kind of the front person. Like I enjoyed being on the sidelines, kind of. Yeah, exactly. uh, and the last band I was in before starting this project, my brother was actually the lead singer of, which was kind of fun. Uh, and he's played in a whole bunch of other bands after as well. So it's kind of been a family thing. Uh, but what kind of got me into it is when I was writing the first Western Jaguar album was kind of like the lowest point of my life, like in terms of
Mm.
my mental health. And I was going to university but I wasn't really interested in what I was doing. And I was just kind of skipping classes and I just felt super lost. And music kind of became uh, the way for me to kind of reconnect. And remember this, I was on, I can't remember all the music forums back in the day, like 13, 14 years ago. But somebody posted the song was Black Gold by Foles.
Mm.
And I remember listening to that song and being like, whoa, like that was one of those songs that made me want to really make music. And the second one was when Bon Iver released his second album, Bon Iver, Bon Iver. That album too, I was like, this is so cool. Like, I want to make music. So I'd say Foles and Bon Iver were really kind of the big inspirations to get the project started. Which I don't, again, if I listen to my music now, I don't know if you hear that influence, but like that's kind of what triggered the whole thing.
So that's funny because I was going through your website with your EPK and
Yeah.
going through your Spotify, and so you talk about taking influence from artists like
Mhm.
Foles, I think is
Yep.
Death Cab for
Yep.
QT and
Yep.
PT. I'm gonna
Yep.
be honest, the only one I heard from that is Foles before.
Yeah. Because they're
Um,
in the UK.
the rest, I'm like, not sure if I heard about these people. But
Yeah.
what inspiration do you think you take from these artists? Like, is there anything which you add to your own music, sort of build?
Well, I think all of those artists, like Foles, Death Cab, and PD, like they all, like you were talking about, they have that balance between
Mm,
they have really energetic songs. Like at Foles, for example, like you got like Providence, like which is just like a crazy, everyone goes crazy, like Inhaler, like those type of tracks, which are
mm,
massive tracks. But then they also have more like Late Night and Spanish Sahara, like more mellow, like vibing out tracks. And I think that's kind of what the reference really is. It's like we're gonna go to these vibey places, but we're also gonna like get heavy at times. And I
yeah,
think you can hear that on Vacation Land. Like we got more mellow songs like Melancholia and Black Tusk. And then we got like Victim, which is like a straight up just punchy, like heavy rock song. So I
yeah,
think that's where the parallels are, is just like we're going to go to all these different places. And here are some other bands where that has worked.
Oh, nice. So,
Yeah.
you have worked as an artist for a while, and you've
Yeah.
of course released other albums in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you've got Glacier in 2013,
Yep.
based on your
Yep.
Spotify discography. Wayfarer
Yep.
2015,
Yep.
Memorial 2017, Oblivion
Yep.
2023, and now
Yep.
Vacation Land. Um,
Yep.
how do you feel you've evolved as an artist, a brand, a musician, and a person since then?
A lot in short. Uh, I feel like number one, most of all, has become more comfortable making my own music.
Mm,
Because I think up until Oblivion, kind of the first 10 years of this project, I kept trying to do things that I thought was right, not what I wanted to do. So
mm,
like when we were writing or I was recording, a lot of the decisions I made were in the vein of, do I think this will get people to like my music?
mm.
And I think that's a pitfall a lot of artists fall into, especially new artists, like thinking
Yeah,
that they need to sound like somebody else in order to fit on playlists or fit on, I don't know, on
yeah,
blogs and things like that. And throughout there, you notice there's a big gap there from 2017 to 2023. There's 6 years where nothing came out.
Yeah.
And that was really because I felt stuck. I wasn't sure where to go. Like I had made those 3 albums and I was doing what I thought people wanted, yet it wasn't going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of a hard reset of like I need to do what I feel is authentic to me, to what Western Jaguar is.
Yeah.
And embracing that for the last 2 records has really like opened up so many doors, so many things.
Mm.
And so I think the thing I've learned most is A, don't be afraid to be yourself. And like B, the sooner you do that, the more people are going to embrace what you're doing because it's more authentic, it's more you. And I think nowadays, especially in this generation, people can see like unauthenticity or things that are being sold to them that aren't real or unauthentic. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing I've seen in my growth throughout that time.
Yeah. So I think with music now, as you're saying, people follow you as a person more than they follow
Yeah.
your music. And if
Yeah.
you're
It's a
not
great point.
confident in your own
Yeah.
music, they're not gonna reciprocate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you're second guessing yourself and you're not just going, yes, this is my music,
Yeah.
this is what I'm proud of.
Yeah.
If you're not like that, they're literally gonna be like, oh, okay, next.
It's such a great point. Like you're right. Like music so much nowadays is about you as
Mm.
your personality and you as a person. And again, yeah, you're right. Like embracing that is so important. Like I often feel I'm so annoying on social media because I post so much, but like you have to, right? Because like
You have to.
that's
Yeah.
how you get it out there.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure like some people think I'm annoying or like I boast too much about my own stuff, but like you're right. Like if you're not going to champion your own stuff, like who's going to do it for you?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned all these other artists previously.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to re-record any song in the big
Oh,
wide world as a cover, what would you release?
any song as a cover. Oh God. That is a good question. There's so many good songs out there. Any song as a cover. Man, this is tough. It would have to be a full song just because
Okay.
like that's kind of where I started.
Yeah,
A
that's
song
fair.
I often think about that would be like really cool to do like a different take on is it's on Total Life Forever, which is their 2011 album, if I'm correct. Oh God, any Fools people are going to be flaming me in the comments for that one if it's wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But there's a song on there called Afterglow, and
Okay.
again, it's follows that similar line of like vibiness to like intensity, and I've always thought it would be a super fun to play live. So like I would love to
Yeah.
make my own version so I could play it live. And then B, if I was going to do a new version of it, I think I would even accentuate that vibiness and the difference between the parts even more
Yeah.
than they did on it. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, I know you're a bit of a multi-instrumentalist.
Mhm.
So growing up, what instrument did you focus on first? Was there a timeline of, oh, I wanted to do this, oh, I want to do this, I want to learn this.
Yeah, so it started with piano. My parents made me do piano lessons when I was a kid. And I was like 5 or 6 when I started. And by the time I was like 9, I was like, I don't want to do this. And my parents, God love them, they refused to let me quit. They're like,
Oh, bless
no.
them.
They're like, if you quit, you're going to regret this. And like you're like 8 or 9, and you're like, no, I'm not gonna regret this. Like, why won't you let me quit? And I ended up playing piano till I was about 13 or 14. I think that's when I actually stopped. But that really became the foundation
Yeah,
for everything else. Uh, but when I got to high school, I don't know what the equivalent would be in the UK, like grade 8, grade 9. ninth
Secondary,
year.
yeah.
Yeah,
Secondary, yeah.
yeah. Uh, I I realized like you can't play piano places. Like if you go like out with your friends or you go to somebody's house, everyone doesn't have a
Mm.
piano. So I was like, it became a like an ego thing. Like I want to show people I know how to play music. So my dad had a cheap guitar, and I was like, I want to switch from piano lessons to guitar lessons, and they were like, no, we're not doing that. They're like, but my dad was like, I have a book downstairs, and he's like, if you're serious, you can use the chord book and the tab book and like go through, learn the songs, and then teach yourself. So I spent 6 months playing guitar every day, teaching myself how to play. And then from there, when I started recording, I'm like, oh, I want to do bass. Well, let's just learn how to play bass. Oh, I want to learn how to do programming like synths and things like that. Okay, let's learn how to
Yeah.
do that. I want drums on this. Well, I guess I got to learn how to play drums. So I bought like a cheap, like $50 drum kit, learned how to play drums. And it just kind of, my interests, every time I was interested in an instrument, I just learned how to play it, learned how to play it.
Yeah.
And that was more of me just wanting, I think, me wanting control over all aspects of it. So I'm like, if I know how to
Yeah.
do everything, I can just do it all myself.
That's fair.
But I love playing different types of instruments. Like now, I don't think I would ever, if someone's like, you can only play one instrument, I couldn't stick to one instrument now. Like I love the diversity of playing different things, and
Yeah.
they all bring different things to the table, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's such a cool thing because I, I, everyone who knows me outside when they watch us back, the
Yeah.
thing is, I can't lie because when I have my friends watching back and other people that I know watching these back every so often, like, no, that's not true. That's not true. But I I very badly or very minimally play
Yeah.
piano,
Yeah.
guitar, bass.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not going to mention drums because I tried that. It went
Yeah.
terribly. But like it's good being able to support yourself and just knowing the instruments so you can go and support other people as well.
Yeah.
And as a musician, that's such a wide range of skills
Hmm.
to be able to have, even if it's not like an in-depth knowledge of the instrument
Yeah.
and advanced level of playing. Even
Yeah.
even a minimal amount of level on an instrument is enough, like can get you quite far because it means that you at least understand a little bit.
No, 100%. And definitely when like I was playing with other people or recording with other people, like
Mm,
having knowledge of, okay, I know what's possible on drums, for example, or I know
yeah,
I have experience. I know
yeah,
what's possible to be played and things like that, or like how to
yeah,
explain things that I want. Like
yes,
just having
yeah,
that little basic,
yeah,
even a fraction. Again, I'm not going to claim to be a great drummer or anything like that, but just enough, like you said,
yeah,
to get by is super helpful, and
yeah,
especially in when you get to production and mixing, like to understand the instrument
yeah.
is such a huge thing. Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's kind of like at least if you have an understanding, it's not like you're going to go and tell a drummer, you need to grow two more arms and two more
yeah.
hands and play like
No, and like when I
four different
started,
parts.
like the first album, like a lot of the drum parts I programmed on there are impossible to play. And like we started playing live and I had someone playing drums and they're like, I cannot play this the way you programmed it. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. I guess I gotta like learn how to do that properly.
Yeah, that's quite a cool thing. Is just knowing everyone's individual instruments even a little bit. And then
Yeah.
the communication between musicians becomes a lot more fluid and a
Hmm.
lot easier. Um, so what I'm curious to know because I've got friends up in Canada.
Okay.
I'm still meaning to come up to Canada. I really want to go at some point. But what's the music scene like in Canada? Because of course London, it's very big. Like you go around
Yeah.
the corner and like there's a record shop, or you go
Yeah.
around the corner, there's someone busking on the street.
Yeah.
In most places. So what's it like up there?
Uh it depends. Depends where you are. I think Vancouver itself, again, I'm like a little bit outside of Vancouver, so I feel a little disconnected from what's going on in there, but from friends I know who are still active and playing in there, like it's pretty good. Like
Yeah,
It's not going to be to the level of a New York and LA, a London,
Mm.
for example, but it's sustaining enough. You have bands coming out of there who are doing well and succeeding. Like,
Yeah.
so I think it's doing okay. I, but I think there's still not a ton of opportunities
Mm.
in terms of performance spaces. I think that's kind of the biggest gap that
Yeah.
we see, specifically in like the areas I live, like out in the suburbs. Like it's very like America, like suburban sprawl kind of things. So there's it's all road based. So there
Yeah.
it's hard to have venues and things that are easy for people to get to. And because of that, I think you see less like in the city I live in, like there's two venues and like one of them's like a guy's house. Like and then you have like local breweries and things like that, which are really picking up the slack. Like they're letting artists play all the time. But
That's
again, that's
cool
a
though.
certain type of show, a certain type of show, a certain type of clientele. But really,
Mm.
that's been the big change since COVID and things like that is this local brewery scene. And that's really been where we've
Mm.
seen artists kind of performing a ton. Again, I don't know if it's a springboard for bigger things, but it's a great opportunity that people are having more so
Yeah.
than traditional venues. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I've got one last question before we get into your music.
Sure.
So I read somewhere, you're a five-time Fraser Valley Music Award nominee, and that you won
Yes.
the 2019 category for Live Performer of the Year. Congratulations, by the way, for
Yeah.
winning that.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
can
Yeah.
you explain what the Fraser Valley Music Awards are?
Sure. So the area I live in, like I said, the suburbs outside of Vancouver, it's called the Fraser Valley, and
Okay.
it's probably about 70, 80 kilometers. And there's a whole bunch of towns in that area. And in the middle of it, we have a university campus called the University of the Fraser Valley, and the campus radio station or the college radio station. It's called Civil Radio. And it's been run the whole time that I've been doing music by the same guy, Aaron Levy. Like, shout out to Aaron Levy. Guy's a legend. And he got funding to start this program called the Fraser Valley Music Awards. And it's essentially just to give recognition and money out to artists who are doing it in the Fraser Valley. And so you submit every year, like you pay a small fee just to submit because to keep it self sustaining. And then, yeah, you can get nominated for different categories. And it's awesome because I've found so many great local artists that I didn't know about who have submitted. And it's built this whole community together. And then there's usually a show at the end where they do all the awards. So all the artists come out, and it's
Okay.
again just another like networking thing. And it started with this grant that Aaron got. It has to be 8 or 9 years ago now. And he's just been able to keep it going, like sustaining it. So it's been this huge college radio station
Oh,
initiative
wow,
that has
nice.
just continued on. And we've had bands who've got Fraser Valley Music Awards who are like million streams on Spotify now. Like, so it's been cool to see like some of these people really blow up
Yeah.
from getting nominated and winning Fraser Valley Music Awards and things like that. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
shout out to Aaron for doing that because it's
Yeah, definitely.
really it's really helped elevate the music scene because like you saw on
Yeah.
my stuff, like you can put that down as like award nominee, award winner.
Yeah.
And it's just gone a lot of way to helping people get grants and funding and
Yeah.
elevating them.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. And that's so cool because as you mentioned,
Yeah.
the Canada music scene in the sort of areas that you're in isn't big. So the fact that Aaron
Yeah.
managed to go and get um sort of funding to go and host something like that and help
Yeah.
artists in a way where they like artists in the modern era and stuff now need as much publicity and help. The
Yeah.
fact that he's managed to do that is so cool.
Yeah. And
Uh,
it's awesome because it's always in the papers and everything, like the nominees. Like it's yeah, it's
that,
really cool.
oh, that's so cool. Um, so we're gonna jump into I picked four songs
Perfect.
because the three which I picked are from Vacation Land, and I'm just
Nice.
like, I need at least one other that's not on the Vacation Land album. And I didn't do too well at picking one from ages ago, and I picked Matador.
Oh,
Um,
that's a fan fave. Yeah.
I can't like yeah. So we're gonna listen. So from the Oblivion album, which released July 2023. For everyone who does not know Western Jaguar, go check out the Oblivion album as well. This is Matador, so we'll have a listen, and then we'll discuss a little bit about the track. So
Perfect.
this is, assuming my mouse is going to start working, is Matador.
I loved her with all of me. You better believe that I had hoped to one day get down on my knees. But I was dumb and she left me. You better believe that I would do anything. You see, I bury my heart in the depths of hell. Drive my car at the speed of sound. Get bucked off a Broncos back just to have a chance of bringing you back. Should I go to Mexico to fix my report? I wanna fight back like a matador, like a matador. Should I go in the undertow and be what's to show? Wanna fight back like a matador. I bury my heart in the depths of hell. Drive my car at the speed of sound. Broncos back just to have a chance at bringing you back. Just to have a chance at bringing you back. Give me a chance. Nothing's bringing you bury my heart in the depths of hell. Drive my car at the speed of sound. Get fucked up a Broncos back just to have a chance of bringing you back. I bury my heart in the depths of hell. Just to have a chance of bringing you back. But I can't, 'cause nothing's bringing you back.
So that was Matador by Western Jaguar. First of all, love the fact that you got a guitar solo in there. I always love a good solo in a song. That was so cool. Was that you playing the solo?
That was not me playing the solo.
Oh,
That's fun. I play it now when I play it live. Uh, but no, that was we recorded this song back. It didn't get released till 2023. We recorded it in like 2018.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
recorded like
Okay.
2018. So back with the whole band,
Ooh.
it was recorded. So my man AJ Buckley played that guitar solo, and there was no need to for me to redo it. Like that would just
Yeah.
be an ego thing. Like it just rips. So like this song I don't play actually too much on. Like
Oh,
AJ
okay.
played the lead guitars. Davis, who was in the band at the time, he played all the bass. AJ played all the drums. Like I just kind of sat back and it's their magic. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it came out.
Okay, nice. So you said it was like done all back in 2018. So, but that was 5 years in the
Yeah.
making of it then being released.
Yeah.
So, what was so A, how did it start
Yeah.
with the whole writing process back in 2018? And then what made you then decide 2023?
Yeah, so this song started it started in a weird way. I kind of was like messing around with the idea of this song again, like on acoustic, like we talked about earlier. And we were playing this show in a town called Nanaimo. I don't know if you ever had Nanaimo bars, that's where they originated. Uh, and we had a show, and we thought we were playing an hour and 15-minute set. And we got there, and they're like, no, you got to play an hour and a half. And we did not have enough to fill the time. So we decided in the moment I would just play like a 15-minute acoustic opening set, and I was trying to scrape my mind for like songs I had, and I played a couple covers, and I still needed like another 3-4 minutes.
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, guys, I'm just gonna figure out this song that I've been working on. And they were like, no, like you can't just play something. I'm like, no, I have this idea. Let me just figure it out. So I spent like an hour just kind of working it out before the show. And I went out there, I played it as part of this set, and we played the whole set. And then after the show, Davis and AJ were like, yeah, we're gonna record that song. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, that song is killer. Like, how did you do that in an hour? So
Love that.
like that kind of started. That's how Matador started. And when we recorded it, again, it was supposed to be for an album we were going to release in 2020. So we were recording a whole bunch of stuff in 2018, 2019 for 2020 because we
Yeah.
had booked a whole bunch of dates and tours and things like that. Like we had a whole bunch of shows lined up. So, and then we all
Yeah.
know what happened. And that kind of killed the
Oh
band
no.
portion of Western Jaguar. But because of that, we were just kind of sitting on the songs for a while because we're like, okay, we'll just wait. Like this will all
Mm.
pass and then we'll just finish it and release it. So we waited a couple years and then it's 2022 and nothing's really changed. Like, and
Oh no.
people moved away. Like AJ moved to Vancouver Island. Like Kier, who's played guitar with me for a long time, he moved into Vancouver. So we are just kind of apart.
Oh
And
no.
I was like, this song is too good. Like it's too good to let die. So
Yeah.
I like that is the original mix, the original everything from 2018. Like I did not change
Damn.
anything. I'm just gonna keep it the same. I'm gonna throw it on this album. And of course I talked to the guys before and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, go for it. Like do it. And it was not one of the singles on Oblivion,
Mm.
but it's by far the most streamed song on that album, which is also pretty cool. Like again, it's just another one that's connected with people. And I get people all the time like who post like playlists of their
Yeah.
stuff, or like people talk about Western Jaguar, and I have people who go comment like, you got to listen to Matador, you got to listen to Matador. And like there's a whole group of people that just like love Matador. So it's really become like that was kind of like that launch song that like started
Yeah.
all this second era of Western Jaguar, which is
Oh,
cool because
nice.
it's like it's not even like a new song I wrote. It's like a really old one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's so cool because it kind of allows you to sort of see, oh, like things have like it's weird to see like the progression now, I suppose.
Yeah. And it's a great
Because
bridge
yeah,
between the before and like what I'm doing now. Like, and I still love to play, like, that's the song I usually open if I play by myself with like backing tracks or things like that. Like, I still love that song.
nice. Well, I suppose that takes us on to now. looking at a year later, or I
Yeah.
suppose 6 years later, if we talk
Yeah,
about
really.
first done. So I've got three tracks lined up from the Vacationland album, which I have reviewed on the Melody Music blog,
Yeah.
and I have been obsessed with since you left a comment on
Awesome.
the on Threads saying
Is that
review
how I
this.
was trying to figure out
Yeah,
how this started? Yeah, it was threads.
yeah,
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
Threads. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I put a post there saying any new musicians, send
Yeah.
me your music, and you sent me one of them, which we'll come on to a bit later.
Yeah.
But so we'll listen to Repossess,
Yeah.
which of course came out as a part of a single EP in May of 2024
Yeah.
as a sort of pre-release.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the album of Vacationland is September 2024.
Yeah.
So we'll have a listen to Repossess.
Tropical swell. I know the pressure mountain, I know you can tell. I'm slipping from the surface, my body's filled with doubt. I'm breaking at the seams and my jaw is falling out. Oh no. Tropical hell. I can't keep pretending that I'm doing well. I know you heard me lying, I know you heard me yell. I shattered all the plates, but I still don't wanna dwell. Oh no. Oh no. Let go. Repossess, yeah. Lay me down, baby. Fill the lungs in my chest. I'll keep my body wrapped around, but my life is full of regrets. Help me repossess them. My life is full of regrets. Help me repossess them. Life is full of regrets. Feeling like a jerk in a tropical shell. I can't keep throwing back pill after pill. I'm swimming to a future, but drowning in my past. I just want to prove that I can make it last. Can I make it last? Can I make it last? Make it last. Lay me down, baby. My life is full of regrets. My life is full of regrets. Help me repossess them. Repossess, yeah, we're almost there. Babe, we're almost. Help me repossess, yeah, we're almost there.
Nice. So that was Repossess.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd start this off just before, just giving. I do this with all the songs which we listen back to that I've already reviewed.
Yeah.
So I've put in on the blog Western Jaguar returns with Repossess, blending hypnotic vocals and captivating guitar riffs to explore life's regrets. So, how close was I with that sentence, do you feel, to the song?
I feel like you said it better than I could have said it. Because that's really what it's about. It's about like those things that you realize as you get older, like, man, I should have done these things when I was like younger. I didn't even realize. Like, like health wise
Yeah.
and like also just time wise. Like I talk about this my friend Kier, who played in the band. We talk often about like how we didn't realize how good we had it when we were like in our 20s, like just
Mm.
playing shows for like $5 because like who cares? Like we're
Yeah.
just doing the thing. And now like it almost needs to be financially viable in a way to be worth your time. But like there's all this stuff that you start thinking about when you get into
Yeah.
adulthood, that like you have other bills to pay and things to worry about. And like this song's just about like, I wish I could get all that out of my head and just get back to just
Mm.
enjoying like doing music or like even doing something stupid with your friends. Like I wish I could just focus on that and not be worried about all these other things going on, and like get rid of like all those other intrusive thoughts kind of things.
Yeah. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I've sort of touched upon the subject in previous interviews with the fact that a lot of musicians, especially like everyone that I've in or most people that I've interviewed in this first series, has
Yeah.
sort of said that they have to have another job as a
Yeah.
musician just to support them. I mean, I'm a musician. I've got another job.
Yeah.
It's not this, of course. I've got
No.
another
Yeah.
job beyond being a musician and doing these podcast interviews,
Yeah.
and but that's the only way to financially support being a
100%.
musician, which
Yeah.
is not
No.
like it's not where you want to be as a musician. You're creative. You don't want
Yeah.
to have a 9 to 5. You don't want to have to. And I suppose that's a really good thing to mention to young musicians, which is just go out and enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Before, like, again, like when I was in my early 20s, I
mm,
was living with my parents, like, and like that offers you some freedom, right? Like you have
yeah,
that net of like, you don't have to worry about food and housing and like your
yeah,
jobs. Like, think about your jobs in your early 20s too. Like, you didn't, like, you're wherever you're working, like, you don't really care that
yeah,
much. Like, but now it's like I have a real job. Like, I need to, like, actually, like, show up and do things properly, or like I don't want to get fired. Like
yeah.
so
It's sort
yeah,
of like a tick box kind of thing. It's just a
no, and I've slowly, I was just talking, this is interesting we're
mm,
talking about this because I was talking with my wife about this a couple days ago, and like the job, like my real job is really just, yeah, to sustain like my
mm,
passions in life, and I've realized
mm,
that now. And will this ever be a self-sustaining thing? Like probably not. Like it'd be cool if it was, but
mm,
I don't think it ever will be. But I think it's still important to do it, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I mean, it's kind of that thing as well, is that music, it's not just something that it's not a hobby, it's not something that we want. Like if it gets us like as a sustainable career,
yeah.
amazing, great.
Yeah, yeah.
But we all start as musicians writing music and releasing music because it's a release. It's not
Yeah.
it's a way of us getting out of our own minds and getting out of our own bodies and stuff like that and just having fun. And
And fun is the big one. And
yeah.
again, like talking about like that gap in time and like how things have progressed, like music was not fun for me, like in
Mm,
like 2018, 2019, because again, I was thinking, what do people want? I got to do this right. And I lost that
yeah.
fun. And again, this song kind of hits on that too. Like find that fun again. Like get
Mm,
rid of these regrets. Like your life is full of them. Like we need to like move past and repossess like those good times.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that but so just to touch one more thing. Um if you're a young, I always do this, I always throw a little bit of a curveball for people listening and new musicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um and maybe you might agree with the statement. If you disagree, do feel free to say. Um, but as a young musician, go out, perform, meet new other musicians, collaborate with them, just make the mistakes early on. Make
Yeah.
all the mistakes early on. And
Yeah.
then when you get into your early 20s, and I'm talking about more like 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds
Yeah.
who are just out of their mind crazy because they're teenagers.
Yeah.
And And then in your early 20s to like late 20s, that's when you can come into your own as an artist
Yeah.
and just have fun during your 20s. Make the mistakes at 18, 19, even 20, and
Yeah.
then just enjoy being a musician.
Well, and like I'm 32 now. I feel like I'm finally hitting like the
Mm.
good part.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people too, they sit on stuff because they're
Yeah.
afraid it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And to anyone who's afraid of that, I say go onto my Spotify, listen to the first album I released. It is horrible. Like in terms, like I like the songs, but like the
Yeah.
quality and every and again, but like I needed to get through these things to
Mm.
get to where you are, right? So like,
Yeah.
yeah. And again, the whole band thing, like the only reason I started playing live is because I went to shows and I met people
Mm.
and they were like, "Oh, like I'll be in a band with you."
Yeah.
Like that's how it all grew, right? So
Yeah.
I totally agree with all of that.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone wants to, because I know, of course, I'm here, I'm doing the interviews, I'm having to be somewhat of an expert in music while doing these. If anyone wants to know about, because my Spotify is probably the same as yours, with the first
Yeah,
album, which is on my Spotify for Jimmy Theo,
yeah,
is god awful,
yeah.
and I never people play it to me, and I'm just like, God forbid, I don't want to hear that. But
All
I
right.
leave it up there. But because any new musician listening to my music who thinks that I may be
Yeah,
some sort of an influence, not
yeah,
saying that I am, but
yeah,
anyone who may listen to me, they can then be like, oh, he was shit when he first started as well. Great.
yeah. No, and about when was that? About 3 or 4 years ago, I deleted Glacia Wayfair. I deleted
Yeah,
both of them off
yeah,
Spotify. And then I re-added them because I'm like, no, like this is so disingenuous of
mm,
me to like try to erase like where it
yeah,
started. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna have a listen to Baby Come Back, which
Awesome.
that was the first song which I reviewed, and that's the one that you actually put on Threads
Nice.
for me to
Yeah.
review. So I really uh I really like this song. It's stuck in my head all the time. So this released in June 2024 as a pre-release to Vacation Land, and of course is now released in September 2024. So this is Baby Come Back by Western Jaguar.
I can't help it, baby. My head's such a mess. Just found out that you skipped town with the guy that we both hate. I can't place the blame. My hope faded. My youth wasted. Baby, come back. Baby, come back. Baby, come back. I can't rally, baby. My heart's worn with stress. So detached, baby, come back. There's so much left to say. I can't escape the pain. My hope faded. My youth wasted. I'm so jaded. Leave me wasted. Baby, come back. Baby, come back. Baby, come back. Baby, come
So that was Baby Come Back by Western Jaguar. Um, so again, gonna start this off with a quick read through of the first sentence of the review.
Sure.
Um, so an enchanting song about winning back love after hardship, with Western Jaguar blending captivating vocals and guitar riffs to hook you in. So again, keeping with the theme of guitars and the whole the whole way that you have riffs in your songs,
Yeah.
because as immediately as soon as I played the song, because I reviewed this in August 15th,
Yeah.
and I listened to the song for the first time, I think a couple of days before that,
Yeah.
and just da 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 waste. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like. Then for the next few days, wasn't even playing the song for like a couple of
Yeah.
days, and then immediately I just started humming. I'm just like, oh, okay, yep. I need to review this song. Something that's getting stuck in my head this easily needs to be
Yeah.
like out there.
Yeah, the earwormness is something I've really tried to get better at. And I think I've got better at it because like melodies used to be really hard for me.
Mm,
And I feel like that's something, again, going back to our talk about progression, like that's something I've really learned how
yeah,
to be better at. Yeah.
yeah. But well, you definitely crushed it in this song because I've just played it now again. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning, head into work, and just da 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 da. It's just gonna be in my head for the entire day.
I love
Like
it.
I annoy people at work sometimes. This is a little bit of a tangent
Yeah.
because I suddenly just like start humming just like other random theme tunes like Indiana
Yeah.
Jones. I
Oh,
don't actually watch Indiana. I just
some
walk
things just
around.
get lodged.
I know.
They get lodged. Yeah.
I just walk around humming random stuff.
Yeah.
And my people that I work with, even some friends, just when I'm out with them, they just turn around and just like, "You're right." And this is one of them. Like I had this where I was humming this around work one time, and the
Yeah.
and they were just like, "What is that from? That's not anything which you've hummed before." I'm just like, and then immediately like I was then just like, "Wait, hang on, what is this from?" And I completely forgot, and I was just and then went back through the Spotify. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
See, this is good promo for me. Like, I like this.
Well, you can clip all of
You
this
should
and
hum it
clip whatever.
everywhere. Hum it on like the metro and everywhere,
Oh. You know, I do get weird looks because I'm the type of person where I'll just have one earphone in and I'll just be walking down the
Oh yeah.
street and just start
Yeah.
singing randomly. And the amount of
Yeah.
weird looks that I've gotten throughout the years, but I'm just like, you know what? I don't
Yeah.
care. This is how I
It's
pass
not
time.
worth caring. Yeah.
Well, so also how I pass time going on very, very long walks to get places. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I could play a game on my phone, but my phone will be nicked in a matter of seconds in London. So just annoy the hell out of people. They leave you alone.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to the guitars and the bass and the whole
Yeah.
track.
Yeah.
How did this song start?
So I mentioned Davis earlier. Davis, I still work with a
Mm,
lot with music just because I think the way he thinks about music is so interesting and it lends itself well to like what I do. Cause I think about music, I think in a like a very linear way, whereas he thinks
yeah.
about it in a very like, I don't even know. Like I would love to spend a day in his brain. Like I think he's probably one of the smartest people I know. It's just about like random things. But
Okay.
my wife was doing a university program. This was last summer,
Mhm.
and the university she was going to was kind of right beside where Davis's studio is. So I would drop her off, and then I would go spend the day with Davis, and we'd mess around doing things either for his music or stuff that never
Yeah.
got released, or for Western Jaguar. And one day I was there, we were messing around with on Splice with some loops, and we had a drum loop that isn't the final drums in the song, but we just ended up started writing to it, and we kind of got the main structure down, but we didn't have a good melody, I felt. We had a completely different lyrics, completely different melody for the whole song. And I was like, I like the idea, but I need to take some time on this. And Davis is he likes to do things quick, which again is the opposite of me. But again, that's why it works.
Yeah.
And so I took it home and I spent a couple weeks and I kind of rewrote the whole melody and the lyrical structure and things like that. And then we went back and finished it together. But like his bass line, I feel is really kind of the anchor for the whole song. And that was kind of when we knew, oh yeah, we're onto something here. So this is really much a Davis and me song together.
Nice. So shout out to Davis for that, because the bass line, God forbid, is like that. Also the do 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 do, like that. That's a really cool bass line. And then it goes in, baby come back, do do. And that's a really cool bass line to have. And it's such a good
the lead
introduction.
line.
Yeah,
and the lead line is just that bass line just pitched up.
Yeah.
Like an octave.
Exactly.
Like we didn't even re-record anything else. Like it's just all that same part.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And I suppose that's the thing you mentioned about the original ideas and everything you had originally, or not everything, but some of the things you had originally aren't in the final piece. And I just wanted to point out to musicians, you're going to find me doing this at points after Victim as well, because random points come to my head. And but new musicians, if you've got an idea in your head, I mentioned this with the Dublin Rose interview, don't be stubborn. Things like don't always work out the way that you want them with a song. New ideas will float into your head all the time, and like the song will evolve, and then you'll finally get to the point of like, yes, this is not what I wanted, but it's so good. And it's just, this is a good example of Baby Come Back.
Well, and I have so many songs too. Like another good example of that is on Vacation Land. There's a song called Do You See Me Now? And I wrote it literally in like 2018. And I kept rewriting it. This is like the fourth time I rewrote it. And I finally felt like I got it right where it was releasable. So yeah, like, and again, like this album, there's 9 songs on it, 10 songs on it. Like I wrote 30, 35 songs for this. And those other 25 are not scrap. They're somewhere. I'll go back to them and see what I could find out of them. Right. So everything is worthwhile exploring because you learn something.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. So that brings us to Victim by Western Jaguar, and please tell me how to say the other artist's name before I mess it up.
This is Davis. Davis's artist name is The Coyotes. Yeah.
The Coyotes. So, okay.
The Coyotes. Yeah.
So this is a Victim by Western Jaguar and The Coyotes. So we'll have a listen to this and jump back in a few minutes.
It's been years in the making. All the chains are breaking. I don't need a reaction from the likes of you. You don't wanna take me higher. You just wanna douse my fire. You call me a fucking liar. It's true. Coming of age now, moving past the decay now. I don't need a distraction from the likes of you. You don't wanna take me higher. You just wanna douse my fire. You call me a fucking liar. I'm the victim. Yeah. years in the making. All the chains are breaking. I don't need a reaction from the likes of you. You don't wanna take me higher. You just wanna douse my fire. You call me a fucking liar, and it's true. I've been used. I'm the victim. You don't wanna take me higher. You just wanna douse my fire. You call me a fucking liar, and it's true. I've been used. I'm the victim.
So that was Victim by Western Jaguar and the Coyotes. So, another vibe. um, so just to start things off, again, another one which I've reviewed. So a song about being a victim, Victim by Western Jaguar, featuring the Coyotes, uses hypnotic vocals and captivating guitar riffs to draw us in. Again, I can't seem to get out of describing your music as hypnotic vocals and guitar riffs and captivating guitar riffs. It just seems to every song that I listen to.
I gotta get you to write my new bio on Spotify because you describe it way better than I do.
But like every song which I've listened to, or like we've listened to right throughout this time, is literally that. It's hypnotic vocals and just great guitar riffs.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you keep coming up with this sort of thing, because
I don't know either, man.
Well, why don't you talk us through Victim a bit and how it came about? I forgot to mention at the start, this came out as a single August 2024 as a pre-release, and this was released as a part of Vacation Land in September 2024. Sorry, I forgot to mention that before.
No,
but
no.
Go on. Why don't you tell us a bit about Victim and how it came about?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one because it kind of started with an idea, and I really wanted to write this song about, well, like high school, for example. Like that's kind of where it came out of. And like just like I remember caring so much about what people thought about me. And like I know we all go through this, right?
Yeah.
Like the teenage years. And it's just kind of as you grow up, you realize like A, none of that matters.
Yeah.
And like B, why did I care so much about what all these people thought of me and like what they thought I was? And I this is kind of like my kind of revenge track on all those people that kind of put me down and like didn't really see me for who I really was. So I kind of had that idea. And again, this is another one that Davis and I worked on together. And I again went in one day and I had another song that actually didn't make the album that I wanted to work on. And Davis was like, no, we're not doing that today. He's like, we're gonna make a new song. And I was like, I'm here for like 6 hours. I'm like, we're gonna waste so much time. We're not gonna get anything done. Like, no, we're not gonna write something. And he's like, no, we're gonna make a new song. And he plugged me in and he's like, play something. And I'm like, I don't know. So I played stuff for a couple minutes and then I ended up on that riff and he's like, stop, like that's it. And we produced 90% of the song that day. Like the vocals were all done, bass was all done, the guitars were all done. And like that guitar part, like the lead sound, again, that's Davis. Like I was playing it initially just like my regular sound, you know, like that Corsi reverb with a little bit of distortion. And again, like he beautiful mind it, you know, like it's like Goodwill Hunting, you know, he sees all the equipment and he's like, no, we're going to do this. And he just messes with a bunch of stuff and got that sound. And I was like, like this, I could have never got this on my own. So that's why I made sure like it said featuring on that one, because really like he spearheaded most
Mm.
of that song. I was just kind of a passenger and he was driving the car. And I I've never done too much with like explicit lyrics. Like I've tried to keep things pretty clean,
Mm.
but we messed around with this one making a clean version and it just didn't feel the same. Like
Yeah.
so we just ran with it, and I'm super happy with how it came out. It reminds me of like a good, like punchy, like old school, like alt rock kind of song, but it's like still got like a vibe to it.
Yeah.
Like there's something about it. Like I initially felt it wasn't a Western Jaguar song when we first finished it. Like we
Yeah.
were going to release it under like a new side project or something.
Yeah.
But the more I came around to it, I'm like, no, like you said, like it has that hypnotic captivatingness to it.
Yeah.
And that's what like it fits. Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah. It's the
yeah,
brand.
it's a cool song. It's a really cool song. And
Yeah.
Davis, I owe Davis a lot for that one.
So, talking about a bit more about the song and the meaning and everything, you mentioned it's about to be like basically just here to everyone who just put you down and everything as a
Yeah.
teenager, and everyone as you mentioned, everyone goes through it,
Yeah.
and no matter what, like you could be the most popular person in the school, you still have people pulling you down.
Yeah.
Um,
I was not the most
and
popular person in school. Just
don't
for
worry,
clarification.
neither was I. Neither was I. Don't worry. I don't think I even came near the top. I'll sort of like I was the geeky artsy kid
Yeah,
mixed
exactly.
mixed with being a
Exactly.
nerd.
Yeah,
So that I
exactly.
definitely was not anywhere near the
No,
top.
no.
But it's kind of that thing where everyone will go through it no matter what, and
Mhm.
it's just kind of it's one of those things that until you talk about secondary school and being a teenager, because
Yeah.
stuff like that still holds you down even as an
Oh,
adult,
yeah. No.
and like even that it could be the smallest thing in the world,
Yeah.
it could be the biggest thing, but there's
Yeah.
still things that will hold you down from back
Yeah.
then. And unless you either talk about it as a musician, write about it as a
Yeah.
form of therapy, and this is where like mental health is such a big thing, and music now, especially when you get into the industry, like properly into the industry,
Mhm.
the record labels and stuff will force you to do, oh, you need to do this, or you
Yeah.
need to do this. No, but
Yeah.
I want to write about that. No, well, you can't. You've got to write about this.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that a lot of labels and even musicians that then end up there forget that that's what music is about. Is for
Yeah.
musicians, it's a form. It's not only an escape, but it's a form of therapy. Like
Yeah.
we write about stuff because it impacts us, and it's a way of us just getting it off our chest and basically like, this is how I was feeling.
Yeah.
I'm past it now, but this is this is how it was.
Yeah.
And it then also allows people who have gone through that or are going through that to basically be
Mhm.
like, yep, okay, this is how I'm feeling, but I know that person, Western Jaguar, has written a song
Yeah.
about it and he got through it, so can
Yeah.
I.
And I think that's a huge part of like my music in general. It's like I've learned that I want to be more honest about the things that I've experienced and the things I've gone through. And again, because yeah, they're so universal, these things. Like when you're going through it, you feel like you're the only person doing it. But
Mm,
I have often made the joke that music is like a cheaper form of therapy, but it's actually not, because you spend way more money making music
yes.
than actually going to therapy. So it's really not a cheaper form of therapy. But
Yeah.
like it really is. And I think you can see, like, not to pile on somebody who's like getting roasted all over the
Mm,
place right now, but like Katy Perry released a new album that everyone is saying is horrible, horrible, horrible. And I think it's because, like you said, it's lacking that like authenticity, like that
yeah.
real emotion that like is
Yeah.
so crucial to human connection.
Yeah.
Because really, at the end of the day, like we talked about at the beginning, like it's about the person you're connecting to
Yeah.
now. And if you don't feel a connection to the person, you feel like this wall, it's
Mm.
hard to really connect with the art itself.
Yeah.
So getting to know the person is just as important as the
Mm.
art. And if you can learn about the person through the music, then that's even better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to say, although therapy may be cheaper
Yeah.
than actually writing music,
Yeah.
if you, as a musician,
Yeah.
feel like yes, it will probably cost you more to actually finalize things, but
Yeah.
some people, of course, talking about their feelings doesn't always work. Whereas
Yeah.
writing music and writing it all down and singing and creating something positive out of it
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a licensed therapist, so I can't
Well, I was going to say too, like
advise.
if you feel like
But
therapy
if it
would
feels it
help, yeah,
helps,
go for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you feel like therapy will help, definitely
Yeah.
go feel. But
Yeah.
music is such a big part of everyone's lives that
Yeah.
if you're a creative person, give it a try. If you're feeling
Yeah.
like things are difficult for you, have a go. Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's the same with
Well,
painting as well and things
yeah.
like
Well,
anything creative.
especially nowadays too, like starting music is so accessible. Like you
Yeah,
really don't even need to know how to play an instrument. Like you can buy a MIDI keyboard and
yeah,
load up something with some stock sounds and just mess around. Like
yeah.
the barrier to getting to the point of being creative is so low, which has its drawbacks because now you
Mm,
see how oversaturated things are with music. But the benefit is like, yeah, it's available to every single person. There's that barrier to entry is so low. And yeah, I
yeah,
would encourage anyone who's even thinking remotely about trying to do something, just
yeah,
try it. Like there's no shame in trying and failing, and there's no shame in trying and releasing something. And
yeah,
if five people listen to it, hey, like that's five people you've connected with, right?
yeah,
So it all starts somewhere.
yeah. And I mean, I've often said in this first series, an artist's discography is kind of like anyone else looking through the camera roll and
Yeah.
looking at memories.
Yeah.
Like you can see, like I can see, when my first album that I released, and I
Yeah.
even tried reproducing it and re-releasing it, it still sounds
Yeah.
terrible. But I can look at that and basically like, oh my God, I was there,
Yeah.
and now I'm like I've progressed so much since then. Not
Yeah.
saying I'm not like a great musician or whatever, or songwriter or
No,
whatever,
yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm far off that. But I can see the progression and I can
Yeah.
see the evolution. And even if you start off and you release something and you're just like, oh, that's terrible, that's so
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, but you'll get better.
Yeah.
You need to keep going. Like nothing starts off easy.
No, and
Um,
like I have everything I've ever made like on CDs, like for that reason, because like it's a catalog, right? And like you don't want to forget where you came from. And that's the specific reason why I
yeah,
have all these on CDs is
yeah,
because yeah, there's specific times, specific moments, specific feelings locked into like 20 minutes of audio.
yeah,
And that's super cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, on that note, is there anything else that you want to throw out there to the world and let people know about Western Jaguar?
I would just say like I would love for you to check out my music if you enjoyed any of the songs you heard today. Like there is a like we talked about a big back catalog. And like I said, it goes so many places. Like I would almost guarantee there's at least one song in my catalog that you will vibe with or connect with because I do try to keep it as authentic as possible in terms of real life and things like that. So yeah, I'm on all the places that people are: Instagram, Threads, Twitter. Well, I guess it's X now, but all those places, YouTube, Spotify, and yeah, on my website, westernjaguarmusic.com, you can find merch and physicals and things like that. And I love sending mail to people. Every time I mail something, I always send a note that I wrote and stickers and other bonuses and stuff. Like I love sending things to people. So, like I said, I'm just really honored that people invite me on to do things like this. And I, the community of people supporting indie music is just so amazing. And it's seemingly growing every day, which is amazing to see. So thank you for what you're doing to help indie
Oh,
musicians like myself as well, too.
you're welcome. And so just to kind of give so you mentioned everywhere they can find you. That's amazing. This is going to
Yeah.
be the ninth episode. Um,
Nice.
so of the Melody Music Introduces Series 1. And then
Perfect.
after this one releases on the second, just checking my calendar, on the 2nd of October, there'll be one
Yeah.
more on the Wednesday afterwards with Broken Biscuit. Oh my God, this is happening to me every time. I've got to make sure next time when I film that interview, it doesn't happen. Broken Biscuit Company.
Oh, nice.
And that will be released, and that's the final one of the series being released on the 9th of October. But until then,
Perfect.
make sure that everyone goes out and rewatches all the past interviews. So, of course,
Yeah.
we've got out Matt Clark, Georgia Scarlett, um, Shifra Jacobs, Izzy MacArthur, Danny, Inad Lisbeth, Dublin Rose, Flowers for Hannah, and of course now Western Jaguar. And definitely go check out every single artist on that list, their website and
Yeah.
Spotify, and go support them because everyone on this first series has been absolutely amazing and incredible. And yeah, so thank you so much, Jeffrey or Western Jaguar, and
Thank you.
for coming on and sharing a bit more about you and your music as an artist, as a brand, as a musician. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey,
And
thank you for having me again. I'm very appreciative. So thank you.
and I'll see everyone in the finale of series 1 of Melody Music Introduces with Broken Biscuit Company. So see you then.